In the bustling corridors of Starfield Academy, a prestigious intergalactic school located on the outskirts of a thriving human colony, different species from across the galaxy coexisted. Some students from planets far beyond the reach of the human race had made the long journey to learn in the Academy's cutting-edge facilities. However, not all species were treated equally in this vast melting pot. Among the students was Zilara, a young alien girl from the distant planet Cytherin. She was a quiet and reserved student, her green skin contrasting with the gleaming white walls of the academy. Zilara's large violet eyes shimmered with intelligence, but despite her brilliance, she faced constant bullying. Her planet, though technologically advanced, was not known for its peaceful history with other species. On Starfield, this led many students to view her with suspicion and disdain. Each day, Zilara would walk the halls, her head bowed low to avoid the jeers of her classmates. They would make fun of her tentacle-like hair, her elongated limbs, and her unique mannerisms. "Get away from me, freak," one of the students would sneer. Another would make cruel remarks about her homeworld's war-torn past. Zilara often retreated into herself, the sting of their words carving deeper into her heart with each passing day. No one ever came to her defense. No one, that is, except for one student, a human named James. James Carter had always been different from the others. His dark brown hair and hazel eyes were ordinary by human standards, but his character was anything but. He was kind-hearted, fiercely loyal, and quick to stand up for those who couldn't defend themselves. The moment he noticed Zilara's isolation, something inside him clicked. He couldn't understand why the others treated her the way they did. He had read the history of her people, and although it was true that the Cytherans had a turbulent past, they weren't the monsters the others made them out to be. They were people, just like humans, flawed, yes, but capable of greatness. It all came to a head one fateful afternoon during a class break. Zilara sat alone at her desk in the cafeteria, staring down at her meal, picking at the food with her long, delicate fingers. She could feel the eyes of the other students on her, the whispers, the snickers. Then, as if it were a daily ritual, a group of students approached her table. This time it was Kel, a student from the Zarnak species, whose muscular frame and aggressive demeanor made him a natural bully. With him were his friends, including two others from different star systems, who eagerly awaited their chance to join in the torment. "Hey, freak," Kel sneered, slamming his fist on the table, making Zilara flinch. "What's with your hair today? You trying to impersonate an earthworm or something?" The other students burst into laughter, and Zilara's cheeks flushed with embarrassment. She looked down, her tentacle-like hair twitching as if trying to retreat into her head. She didn't want to be here, didn't want to face this anymore. She wished the floor would swallow her whole, but then a voice broke through the laughter. "Kel, shut up." It was James. The entire cafeteria fell silent as he stood up from his table and walked over to Zilara's side. His usual easygoing smile was gone, replaced by a stern expression. He didn't look angry. He looked disappointed. Kel raised an eyebrow, clearly taken aback. "What did you say, human? You want a piece of me too?" James didn't flinch. He stood tall, his shoulders squared. "You think it's funny to pick on someone who's already down. You think you're tough just because you can push around a girl who's half your size. You're a coward, Kel." The entire cafeteria was watching now, a mix of shock and curiosity. The other students were so used to seeing Zilara humiliated that they hadn't expected anyone, least of all a human, to step in and defend her. Kel's eyes narrowed, and for a moment it looked like he might retaliate. But James wasn't finished. He took a step forward, his voice cold but calm. "If you don't get out of here, I'll make sure everyone knows what kind of person you are. You think your buddies will back you up? Let's see if they want to be known as the jerks who couldn't stand up for someone who needed help." The Zarnak bullies faltered, glancing at each other. James wasn't just some random human. He was well-liked among the students, respected for his leadership and intelligence. Even if they didn't like Zilara, they knew better than to pick a fight with James. After a tense moment, Kel sneered one last time. "You'll regret this, Carter," he muttered before turning and walking away with his group. The others quickly followed suit, and just like that, the tension in the air began to dissipate. Zilara blinked in disbelief. For the first time since she arrived at the academy, someone had stood up for her. She looked up at James, her violet eyes wide with gratitude. Why did you help me?" she whispered, her voice barely audible. James smiled warmly, a reassuring gleam in his eyes. "Because it was the right thing to do," he said. "No one deserves to be treated like that. Not you. Not anyone." Zalara's heart swelled with emotion, and for the first time, she felt a flicker of hope. James had shown her that not all humans saw her as the enemy. Maybe, just maybe, there was more to this world than cruelty and judgment. As the days went on, something changed. Other students began to take notice of James's actions, and slowly, they started to shift their perception of Zalara. One by one, more classmates offered her a kind word or a friendly gesture. The bullying didn't stop completely, but with James's support, Zalara felt stronger, more capable of standing up for herself. The human and the alien girl had become an unlikely pair, but together, they proved that humanity's greatest strength wasn't in its technology or its vast empire. It was in its capacity for compassion, and that, more than anything, was what made humans truly great.